this is Nisha Fair and welcome to my channel. This is where I discuss crimes that happen within South Africa, from robbery to murder and everything in between. I know that it has been a very long time since I've uploaded a video. I didn't plan on it taking this long. The next thing I saw, a year had gone by since I had uploaded my last video, so I'm sorry that I've been absent, but I will be back now. Alright, I did record this video already, but the audio wasn't usable. We tried to save it, it didn't happen, so now I'm re-recording, but at least I know the facts a lot better this way. So the case that I'm talking about today is not really a crime or a murder. It's really up to you to decide what really happened. I have my own thoughts, which I will discuss after I've given you all the information, but it's really up to you. I just thought that it was a really weird case and I had to talk to somebody about it. My friends got fed up with it, so here we are. It is also important for you to understand that the family members and their information isn't out there. It's probably for the best that it is not available to the public. I think that they need to have their... So, provincial hospitals. We love to hate them. Provincial hospitals within South Africa do not have a good reputation, to be fair. I'm very fortunate to live in a place where our provincial hospital is one of the best, which is in the Garden Route, and I cannot fault the hospital for anything. They are amazing, but not all hospitals are as great. So you should just keep that in mind. A lot of people in South Africa don't have money to go to private hospitals, so they're forced to go to provincial hospitals, and they don't always get a little bit of additional information. This particular provincial hospital is in KwaZulu-Natal in Durban. In 2016 and 2017, the Health Oversight Body released a report stating that provincial hospitals in KwaZulu-Natal only met half of the requirements for safety and security standards, which is absolutely shocking. The hospital that I'm going to be discussing, they were not a part of this survey, but I honestly think that they should have been, and we'll get to why a little bit later. The hospital that I will be talking about is the Mahatma Gandhi Provincial Hospital. On Friday the 24th of May in 2019, a body was discovered in the roof of one of the storerooms within the hospital. For the last couple of days, nurses and the cleaning staff had been complaining about a terrible smell that was permeating throughout the hospital, but they couldn't find it. They looked throughout the hospital and they just couldn't find where this stench was coming from. It was initially assumed that the smell was coming from the pipes because they had water problems, but when the water problems were solved and the smell didn't go away, they got a little bit more suspicious. So they kept on looking. The smell was finally located to come from a storeroom within the hospital. Now, when someone went into the storeroom, there was blood drops on the wall and there was this weird liquid that was coming from, there was a suspicious fluid that was dripping from the ceiling. So this was all the telltale signs that something was amiss. No. One of the staff members that was interviewed said that they thought that the patients were just stinky, which I understand that hospitals have their own smell, but to blame a putrid smell on the patients, that's a bit rough. You need to start looking after your patients then. They need to get a bath or something, because... So the body was found in this storage room. Someone had gone up into the roof and they found a decomposing body. They couldn't identify the person immediately because the face was partially disfigured, but they did think that it was a male about 35 years of age. On the 28th of May, this is 4 days after the body was found, a newspaper released an article stating that the body was that of a mental illness patient that had gone missing, and that they had tried to escape from the hospital, but they got stuck in the roof, unfortunately. It was super difficult for the investigators to figure out how the body even got up there, because there was no chair, there was no ladder around. And if you look at what the panels look like, there isn't really that much support for someone to have crawled a long distance along the roof. So they must have gotten into the roof pretty soon, like pretty close to where the body was found. Otherwise, he would have just fallen through into one of the other adjacent rooms. The next day, this report was rectified, because the body was identified by family members, and it was also then released that the person was not a mental illness patient. So that means that there was actually another mental illness patient that had gone missing the same day that this person had. They assumed it was the mental illness patient because only a crazy person would go into the roof to try and get out, apparently. So who was the deceased? The deceased was a 53-year-old Sandile Sibiya, who was a builder, and he had broken his leg while he was fixing a house, and then he had to go to the hospital because he needed help. I mean, that was his job. Plus, when you hurt your leg, even if you don't know that it's broken, you're still gonna go to the hospital for an x-ray. So that's what happened. He went to the hospital and he waited there. As I said before, provincial hospitals, a lot of people go there, and when you go there, it is first come, first served, so he knew that he had to wait a very long time. So it wasn't really expected that he would be helped immediately, because perhaps there wasn't any fracture that was like outside of the skin or whatever. I'm just assuming this. I feel that if it was a serious injury, if there was blood or anything like that was going on, bones outside of the skin, he would have been helped immediately. But he wasn't. He was just put into a room and he waited there to get help. 2 days after Sandile arrived at the hospital, his family went to go and see him, and he told them that he was waiting to get an x-ray done, which may sound a bit ridiculous, but in the greater scheme of things, 2 days isn't that long. So he was just being patient, and I am so glad that his family went to go and see him, because unfortunately, 6 days after his family had visited him, he was classified as a missing person. Nobody could find him in the hospital. They looked everywhere. So you must be wondering, how did they only figure it out after 6 days? Well, Sandile had to be transferred to a different hospital in Durban, relatively close by, to see a specialist, an orthopedic specialist. So he needed help, he needed to be transferred. And when they went to go and collect him, they realized that he wasn't there. They looked around the hospital, they couldn't find him, so they filed a missing persons report, which I'm slightly impressed by, to be honest, but that's just my own opinion. I'm glad that they contacted the family, but I don't understand why they didn't think that maybe he could be the one in the roof. Maybe a person that's mentally ill the chance of them being the one in the roof would be higher. But yes, he was then discovered. The KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Health Department said that there were strict measures in place, and that there was a security guard in every single section of the hospital, and the only way that someone could escape from a hospital is if they changed their clothing to like normal everyday clothing. So you're telling me you're in a hospital, all you need to do is change your clothes and then you can leave, no questions asked, even though there's supposedly a security guard in every single ward in the hospital? That just doesn't seem right. But that's what they said. That is the only information that we have about this case. There was a post-mortem, an autopsy that was done. It was provided to the family members, so I truly hope that they have closure, that they know what happened, and that they can be rest assured that perhaps it was just an accident. But I don't know. I don't see how someone gets stuck in a roof. If you were in the ceiling of a hospital, wouldn't you be shouting at the top of your lungs for someone to help you? especially the fact that he injured his leg. How would he be able to get up there? It would have been really difficult, first of all, for someone that has both legs that are 100%, given that there was no chair around or any way for him to have easy access to the roof or to the ceiling. And then he also had a broken leg. What? Now, his body was found 14 days after he disappeared. So you can imagine that it was quite decomposed, and I feel really bad for him. This never should have happened, but remember when I said that in 2016 and 17 that report was released? Well, in 2017, there was another case that was also not linked to this one, but when I was looking up this case, this other one popped up. So in 2017, a 4-year-old girl was looking over the shoulders of a man into a storage room through the window. And she said that she could see a body. And the guy that she was the guy that she was there with, he didn't believe her. He was just like, children, they lie, they see things that they want to see. And then she kept on going on and on, no, I see a body, and I can see toes. And then he was like, okay. So he looked into the window and he saw a body that was laying on a bed. It was wrapped in plastic and there was just the decomposing toes that were visible. And you must be thinking to yourself, what the heck is going on? Like, wouldn't that also smell? So the guy that was with the little girl, he took her and her mother there to the hospital, as he was just a lift, and he went to go and speak to a nurse, and they said that is just how it is done. I'm sorry, what? You just wrap a deceased person in plastic and you leave them in a room where other people are going to be able to see it. Shouldn't it be in a morgue? He said it should be in a morgue, but they said that they have issues and blah, 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 blah. But if that hospital had been surveyed at the time, that probably wouldn't have happened. That was just the case. And I'm really sorry for that family as well. There's no further information besides that one little article. But clearly there are problems here. Hopefully things are better. I just want to say to all the people that work in the provincial hospitals in South Africa, or in any of the hospitals really, especially during this time, we are very grateful for you. And I hope that you found this interesting as much as it could be. What do you think happened? Do you think that he possibly was killed and put up there? What do you think happened? Because I don't understand. It irks me. It irks me not knowing exactly what happened. But yeah, and so that is today's video. I hope that you have a lovely day. Please like, subscribe, share, do all the things. I promise that I will not abandon you as much as I have in the past life. But yeah, bye.